The story begins as Itsuki Tomonari sees Kioh Academy for the first time and is surprised by just how massive it is. It is one of the top 3 academies in Japan, and he is well aware that the students who study here go on to become future CEOs and even prime ministers. Just then, Lady Hinako Konohana shows up, and Itsuki smiles after seeing how different she acts in public. Everyone greets her, and she walks over to Itsuki, making him walk alongside her. The students begin wondering if the new guy is her friend or something. Until yesterday, things had been completely different for Itsuki. He had been working as a part-time laborer just to make both ends meet. Today is his last day, so his employer comes over, thanks him for his hard work, and tells him that his salary has already been sent in advance. As the boy leaves, the employers talk about how reliable he has always been and how he used to juggle multiple jobs while paying his own tuition. While making his way home, Itsuki keeps thinking about his gambler parents, who are the reason he has always been trapped in poverty. When he returns home, he wonders if both of them are asleep after chugging down drinks as usual. But instead he finds a letter lying on the table wishing him the best of luck. It is the first time he has ever heard words like these from his parents, so he lets out a laugh until it suddenly occurs to him that he should check his bank book. Unfortunately for him, it turns out that his spoiled parents have taken all their belongings and run away. Carrying his last 200 yen, the poor boy walks down the street to get something to eat. On the way, he comes across a beautiful girl walking with her friend while wearing one of those elite school uniforms. Tomorrow is supposed to be the opening ceremony at his school as well, but unfortunately he might never get the chance to attend now. After the girl parts ways with her friend and continues walking alone, Itsuki notices her dropped ID lying on the ground. He quickly picks it up to return it to her, but before he can do that, a group of kidnappers suddenly arrives in a van and abducts her. Itsuki tells them to wait, only to get himself captured as an unexpected bonus for the kidnappers. After they arrive at their hideout, the boy explains his miserable situation to the kidnappers, saying that his parents could never afford to pay any ransom. The kidnappers yell at him to shut up, reminding him that he is nothing more than an extra they picked up along the way. Poor Itsuki can only worry about his terrible luck after getting kidnapped right after his parents abandoned him. Meanwhile, the kidnappers confirm the girl's identity and learn that she is truly Hinako, the only daughter of the Konohana family. Just then, the girl wakes up and speaks in a voice that sounds almost robotic, saying that she needs to use the washroom. Itsuki wonders if she is acting this way because of the situation they are in. When Hinako insists that she cannot hold it any longer, Itsuki calls the kidnappers over and gets them to take her to the washroom. Itsuki finds the girl completely different from what he had imagined, and even the kidnappers begin having second thoughts about whether she really comes from a wealthy family. Next, the girl asks for chips and tea, but the kidnappers only bring her some water. She immediately objects, so the robbers tell Itsuki to deal with the girl himself. As she tries to drink, she ends up spilling the water all over herself as if she does not even know how to drink properly. When Itsuki offers to help her, the girl first asks him to promise that he will not steal the water. Itsuki tells her to stop being a delulu. He then asks her to step away from the puddle, but the clumsy girl somehow trips over nothing and bumps her head. Itsuki asks if she can get back up and checks her injury. He tells her to avoid touching the wound to reduce the chances of an infection. Just then, the girl asks Itsuki why the kidnappers took him as well, reminding him that he still has her ID, so he returns it to her. Hinako presses something on the ID and tells the boy that help will arrive soon. She then asks if she can borrow his lap to sleep on. At first, Itsuki feels a little shy and hesitant because of how gorgeous she is, but once he realizes what a complete mess she is, he convinces himself that it will not affect him and lets her rest on his lap. As the rich girl asks him to sing her a lullaby or tell her a funny bedtime story, the guards hired by her father are already on their way. Meanwhile, the kidnappers grow frustrated because they are not getting the ransom they wanted and start throwing things around in a fit of rage. Itsuki tells the girl not to worry because he can be her meat shield. When she asks why he wants to help her, the boy replies that his own future might be uncertain, but he can still help someone else. His answer catches the girl's attention, and she tells him that she feels comfortable around him. She even says that he smells like a freshly dried futon that is perfect to sleep on. She explains that many caretakers have looked after her over the years, but they were always focused on business, whereas she does not get those unpleasant vibes from him and genuinely enjoys his company. The two introduce themselves, but before the girl can say anything else, her maid Jin barges in with the guards. They quickly capture the kidnappers along with Itsuki, wondering where this third person even came from. Itsuki insists that he is a victim too, but it is only after Hinako speaks up for him that the maid finally lets him off the hook. Shizune leaves the rest of the matter to the Konohana security forces and tells her lady to come along. However, Hinako points at the boy and says that she wants him. Shizune responds with a bow and promises to make the necessary arrangements. Just like that, the broke boy suddenly finds himself sitting inside a luxurious car with a beauty leaning against him. There, Itsuki asks why he is being taken away, upon which the maid explains that someone wants to meet him. She then reads out his entire background, which she managed to retrieve with nothing more than a simple request. She even mentions how his good-for-nothing parents ran away with all of his savings the previous night and how his situation could not possibly get any worse. She goes on to explain that he was supposed to begin the second year at his school, but now he cannot even afford to pay his tuition fees. She also points out that he has fallen behind on his rent, meaning he will not even have a place to call home much longer. After telling him all of this, the maid asks him to hear out her proposal. She offers him a job as Lady Hanako's caretaker and warns him that any improper behavior toward the Konohana family's daughter would guarantee castration. Soon, they arrive at a huge palace, which turns out to be the second residence of the Konohana family and the place where Lady Hanako loves to stay. Seeing it, Itsuki cannot even close his mouth as he wonders if he has been living in a doghouse all this time. A whole line of servants is already waiting to welcome the lady and her maid. On the way inside, the maid tells the boy about the vast assets of the Konohana family. But Itsuki can barely manage to walk properly after everything he has seen. Once inside, the boy is escorted to meet the head of the family, who warmly welcomes him. He admits that he has never seen his daughter become attached to someone she has only just met, which means she has finally found the caretaker the entire family has always dreamed of. He then calls Shizune in to give the boy a demonstration of exactly what he would be signing up for. Apparently, Hinako is perfectly well behaved in public and acts like the complete opposite of her sloppy self at home, to the point that Itsuki has to ask the maid who the girl in the recording actually is. He simply cannot believe that the graceful Hinako on the screen and the one constantly clinging to him are the very same person. Just then, Hinako's father explains that his daughter can flawlessly play the role of a perfect lady in public. But once she is at home, she struggles to handle even the simplest daily chores and would even end up sleeping on the floor. They also show him the previous caretaker, who eventually ended up in the hospital after developing a ruptured stomach ulcer from all the stress. Not long after that, the poor caretaker had no choice but to hand in her resignation. Keigen Konohana then tells the boy that, as Hanako's caretaker, he would be expected to support her from the shadows, which also includes attending the same school as her. Hearing that, Itsuki asks what he would receive in return, upon which the wealthy father first offers him 20,000 yen per day. However, after noticing the boy's shocked reaction, he wonders if that amount is too little and immediately raises the offer to an incredible 50,000 yen per day. Itsuki humbly says that even 8,000 yen, which is the standard rate, would be enough for him, but the chairman warns him that a caretaker's responsibilities are far greater than he can imagine. He then reveals the reason his daughter has to play the role of a perfect lady in public. Apparently, the Konohana group has not been performing well over the past few years, which means she has to marry into a respectable family, or else they are doomed. The wealthy father explains that Itsuki's job will be to make sure Hinako can convincingly play the part of a perfect lady at every public event, meaning he will be playing a crucial role in maintaining the Konohana family's reputation. When the chairman asks him to name his price, the humble boy simply accepts the original offer of 20,000 yen per day. After settling his salary, the wealthy father tells him to start working immediately instead of waiting until tomorrow because, without a caretaker, his daughter would get lost even inside her own house. He tells Shizune to handle the rest, and before letting them leave, he reminds the boy to maintain proper discipline at all times. Otherwise, he might end up being found dead. Next, the maid shows the boy to his room and presents him with his new uniform for Kioh Academy. When the boy wonders how someone as poor as him is supposed to attend such an academy, the maid hands him a new set of identity documents that have rebranded him as the heir to an company. To make everything look more believable, Shizune chooses an associated company instead of linking him directly to the Konohana group. The maid smiles and tells the boy that he can always rely on her if he runs into any problems before introducing herself as Shizune Tsurumi. She explains that she will personally train him for his new role before handing him caretaker manuals, followed by the academy's textbooks and reference materials. She then informs him that he will also have self-defense lessons every day before dinner. The boy takes it lightly, insisting that he has already worked plenty of tough jobs and believes he can handle it without any trouble. He feels completely confident in his abilities, but once he steps into the dojo, he quickly reaches his limit and realizes that it is nowhere near as easy as he expected. Later, after lying down on his bed, he suddenly finds the lady of the house already there, making him completely freak out. He tells her to go and sleep in her own room, but the girl insists that her caretaker's room is also her room. The boy immediately grabs the caretaker manual to check if that is actually true. Just then, he checks his phone and sees that his childhood friend Yuri is excited about the two of them going to school together the next day. He regrets not finding the time to tell her everything that has happened and wonders how he is even supposed to explain it. She keeps insisting that he answer her call, but at that moment Hanako suddenly appears from behind and snatches his phone away. When he asks her to give it back, she refuses and tells him to be kinder because she hates it when he talks to her like that. Itsuki then starts speaking more politely, which immediately makes the lady happy, and she tells him to make sure he takes good care of her. Itsuki becomes embarrassed after hearing that, but before he can say anything else, Hanako falls asleep, making him shout at her to go back to her own room. The next morning in the car, Hanako already complains that she wants to go home, but Shizune says she will only accept that request after she is free from class. She also tells Itsuki she will call him Mr. Itsuki in public since he is Hanako's classmate, but she will drop them off at different spots so nobody finds out they live together at any cost. Just then, Hanako tells Itsuki to stop being so formal and asks Shizune to make him talk normally again. While that would be a bad influence on the other servants, Shizune agrees only when they are alone. Hanako teases Itsuki that he is pretty lucky he gets to talk casually with her, but he pretends like it's no big deal. Then, Hanako gets very sleepy, so she orders Itsuki to hug her, and the sudden request almost makes Shizune crash the car. The maid warns that it is improper and unladylike, but Hanako explains that he smells very nice, so Shizune asks if she can smell him after school as well. Soon they arrive at the academy, and Shizune hands Itsuki a package for the next time Hanako makes an unreasonable demand before wishing them a good day. On the way, he tells Hanako to behave properly before someone sees her, but she refuses because nobody is looking. That makes him wonder if she has some mysterious ability to tell when someone is looking at her. At school, the teacher welcomes him as the new transfer student, and he notices the atmosphere is quite positive, even though nobody claps or reacts to his introduction as they did at his old school. The class starts with a maths lesson, and Itsuki's brain is fried right from the start because they are learning material that his old school normally teaches near the end of third year in second year. After the first class, he is already exhausted until he remembers Hanako, but he notices she is playing the perfect princess role without any trouble. Just then, a tall guy walks up to him, scares him, and demands money for daring to ignore him, but the girl with him karate chops him on the head for teasing the new guy. After that, they apologize and introduce themselves as Taisho and Asahi. They explain that transfer students like Itsuki usually struggle with the academy's advanced classes, and after seeing the confused look on his face, they figure out he is the type of student from a humble family who joined the academy for family reasons. That reminds him that Shizune told him to be extra polite because his cover identity is a student from a commoner family. With that in mind, Itsuki tells Taisho and Asahi that his family runs a small software company, so the two understand how much harder the classes are than the ones at his old school. That is why they invite him to a support group where commoners like them help each other out. Itsuki tears up because of their kindness and happily accepts the invitation. Taisho tells Itsuki to drop the formal tone, but Itsuki explains he cannot go against his family's rules. Taisho does not mind that. But the whole classroom suddenly goes quiet when he asks about Itsuki's relationship with Hanako, because everyone saw them walk to school together. Itsuki starts shaking as he explains that their families know each other, so they asked Hanako to show him the way to school. Then, Taisho gets serious and questions if they are engaged, but Itsuki clarifies there is nothing going on between them, and the tense atmosphere disappears. Asahi explains that Hanako is the most popular girl at the academy because she not only has the best grades and looks, but also comes from the great Konohana family. Rumor even says she holds business meetings on the rooftop during lunch break. At lunch, Itsuki finds Hanako on the roof, and she says she likes eating there because nobody comes to bother her. The two start eating, and Itsuki is stunned by the luxurious lunch she brings. Hanako admits the cafeteria serves high-class food, but her lunchbox is filled with the dishes she likes. Itsuki gets curious and asks what food she dislikes, so Hanako starts naming every vegetable she can think of until he realizes she really hates veggies. With a cheeky grin, Hanako accidentally drops her food, so she tells Itsuki to feed her instead. After that, she returns the favor by feeding him her rolled omelette. And she is happy that he likes it because it is a master's job to make sure her servant eats well. She also says she does not want him to get tired of her. Hearing that, Itsuki wonders why all of her previous caretakers quit. But Hanako does not know the reason, so he asks how long they stayed instead. She remembers the longest one lasted only a month, which makes no sense to him because very few jobs offer such great benefits like good pay, a rent-free room, free tuition, and 3 high-quality meals every day. The only thing he can complain about is the painful studying. Just then, Hanako suddenly asks if she is part of the great benefits and if he wants to marry her for the money. Itsuki immediately gets flustered, but Hanako admits she only asked because she does not want him to leave her. Soon after that, she peacefully falls asleep on his lap, and Itsuki gets a call from Shizune. She explains that she will call him during every lunch break until he gets used to his caretaker duties. Itsuki assures her that he is staying in character and says the only students he has talked to so far are Taisho and Asahi. Hearing that, Shizune checks their records and reveals that Asahi's family owns one of the country's biggest electronics store chains, which annoys Itsuki because rich girl Asahi was posing as a commoner. He then learns that Taisho's family also runs the country's largest transport company, leaving him annoyed at the rich people who fooled him. Later in English class, Hanako impresses Itsuki again by solving a complex problem without any effort, and it makes him wonder if she even needs him around. Just then, Shizune calls him from the security room to tell him that Lady Hanako's wallet and tracker are showing different locations. Itsuki has no idea where to look, so Shizune tells him to head west, where the bathrooms are. She tells him to return the wallet as quickly as possible, but when he reaches the girl's bathroom, he realizes it is impossible. Just then, a blonde girl with curly hair asks what is troubling him and introduces herself as Mayuri, the heir to the Tennoji group. Itsuki quietly stares at her, so she gets offended that he does not recognize the Tennoji name and gives him a full lecture about her family's huge mining business, which is on the same level as the Konohana family. Itsuki reacts to the Konohana name, and that annoys Mayuri even more because she never gets the spotlight thanks to Hanako and her family. After she calms down, she offers to help once Itsuki explains there is a lost wallet inside the girl's bathroom. However, she becomes curious about how a boy knows it was there. So Itsuki says the owner asked him to find it while keeping Hanako's name a secret because Mayuri clearly does not like her. To his surprise, Mayuri lectures him that everyone at the academy is a future leader, so he should not let anyone treat him like an errand boy. Itsuki agrees, but Mayuri tells him to say it louder and stand up straight so he shows more confidence. As she leaves, Mayuri suggests he look for the lady with shiny golden locks if he ever needs help. However, Itsuki innocently asks if dyeing her hair blonde is not against the school rules, which makes Mayuri turn bright red and run away in embarrassment because she does not want to admit her hair color is fake. After school ends, Taisho and Asahi congratulate Itsuki on surviving his first day and invite him to a welcome party. But he politely asks to do it another day because he has to go straight home after he sees Hanako leave. Soon, he follows her behind the school to the fishing pond, where she feeds the fish and complains that she does not want to go home. Itsuki is confused because she said the complete opposite that morning, and the mansion is much more comfortable. Hanako explains that lessons and work are waiting for her at home, and she refuses to budge even when he tries to drag her away by force. Seeing that, he remembers the package Shizune gave him for desperate times, and Hanako instantly reacts to the crisp crackling sound of a bag of potato chips that he pulls out. She demands that he hand them over, but Itsuki refuses unless she comes home with him. Hanako finally admits defeat because resisting potato chips is simply impossible for her. Itsuki later learns that unhealthy snacks like potato chips are forbidden for her, so they are a very special treat. Back at the mansion, his rough day continues with private lessons for the next day's classes from Shizune, table manners, and self-defense training, which only ends after he begs Shizune to spare his life. However, Shizune is impressed that he learns much faster than she expected. Hearing that, Itsuki asks why Hanako's longest-serving caretaker before him quit after only 1 month. Shizune explains that all of Lady Hanako's previous caretakers were chosen by her father, so they all tried to be tough on her and failed to earn her trust. She believes her father must be desperate if he hired an outsider from a commoner family for the first time. At the end of his first day, Itsuki wonders if he can keep this up when Hanako meets him in the hallway. She says he really stinks, and he admits he is about to take a bath. Suddenly, she tells him to come with her and drags him into her bedroom. Itsuki is amazed by the beautifully decorated room, but her enormous bathroom surprises him even more. Then, without any warning, Hanako forces him to enter the bathtub with her. To distract himself, he opens the student records Shizune gave him so he can learn more about his classmates, and he asks Hinako if she has friends in class. Hinako says the others are not his friends, and she is happy with just Itsuki. After that, she has him wash her hair, and he asks why she chose him to be her caretaker. Hinako explains that she likes how he does not treat her any differently. Itsuki doesn't understand her, but he is happy that she trusts him. He does not realize Shizune was secretly spying on them this whole time. Itsuki is half scared to death when she suddenly appears, has the maids escort Lady Hinako away from him, and tells him she was watching from the very beginning. Shizune tells him to get changed and make sure he always carries medicine on him that will stop him from feeling anything when he's around Lady Hinako. The next day at the academy, Itsuki forgets to grab his indoor shoes and rushes to class when he bumps into a purple-haired girl. The two recognize each other, but Itsuki casually walks past her. When the girl realizes he really is Itsuki, she jumps into his arms and tears up because she missed him so much. The story shifts to some time earlier when Asahi and Itsuki are watching Naraka Miyakajima play tennis. Asahi tells the boy that Naraka is an incredible athlete and is widely known as the school's cool beauty. Unfortunately, because she struggles to get along with other people, all sorts of rumors surround her, including one claiming that she belongs to a dangerous Yakuza family. Itsuki remembers hearing about her from Chairman Kajin during their earlier meeting. Back then, the chairman told him that Naraka, the sole heiress of the Miyakajima family, was enrolled at Kioh Academy and advised him to avoid any unnecessary interaction with her because of his own history with her family. Back in the present, Naraka suddenly bursts into tears after seeing the boy and tells him how much she has missed him. Her words take Itsuki back to the time when he stayed at the Miyakajima estate for a while. Back then, his parents, who were equally talented at wasting money on gambling and other worthless habits, got into a fight that almost ended in divorce. Young Itsuki went along with his mother, who decided to leave him at her grandmother's house for the time being. He soon learned that his great-grandmother had once been disowned by her family, but somehow his mother had managed to reconnect with her. While wandering around the estate, Itsuki came across a purple-haired girl training inside her dojo. The moment she noticed him, she bluntly declared that she hated weaklings. She tells Itsuki that she has heard he is staying there for free. When the boy awkwardly admits that it is true, she offers him a job as her caretaker. Before he even realizes it, Itsuki becomes the perfect caretaker, helping the girl deal with bugs and comforting her whenever her father scolds her. As time passes, Naraka admits that Itsuki is actually stronger than she is because he is not afraid of adults and never cries after seeing bugs. She calls herself a coward because she cannot even go outside on her own. Itsuki eventually learns that she has been raised her entire life believing the outside world is dangerous, which has made her terrified of it. After hearing her story, he suggests taking her outside, and the two secretly sneak away and spend their days playing to their heart's content. The days continue to pass like that until they are eventually discovered, and Itsuki is summoned by the family chairman. Soon afterwards, he and his mother are thrown out of the estate and end up back on the streets. As he is leaving, Naraka runs outside and promises that she will become strong enough for him to come back and live with her someday. Back in the present, Naraka continues calling out Itsuki's name. When he tells her to calm down and get back on her feet, she explains that she cannot even feel her legs because they have gone completely numb from the excitement of seeing him again. Itsuki carries her to the school's infirmary and is about to leave, but Naraka stops him with tears welling up in her eyes. Itsuki apologizes for what happened in the past and admits that he never should have taken her outside without her scary father's permission. Hearing that, Naraka quickly gets up and wraps her arms around him, insisting that he has nothing to apologize for. She tells him that she is actually grateful because, if he had never done that, she would still be the same frightened coward she used to be. Naraka then opens up about her current problem of not being able to make any friends at all. In response, Itsuki tells her that people have simply misunderstood who she really is. Naraka explains that her family follows a warrior mindset, and because of their long-standing traditions, everyone sees them as nothing more than a family of warmongers. She then shyly admits that she gets nervous very easily whenever she is around other people, which is why everyone labels her as a delinquent or even a yakuza. As Naraka asks Itsuki to help her overcome this, his phone suddenly rings, so he steps outside to answer it. Shizune asks where he is, and although she admits it is understandable for him to help an injured student, she reminds him that his primary duty comes first and tells him to return immediately. As Itsuki is about to leave, Naraka stops him and asks if he is going to disappear from her life again. The boy simply smiles and assures her that they will meet again. Hearing that, Naraka shyly asks him to pat her on the head. Unfortunately for Itsuki, that exact moment is witnessed by Hinako, who has come all the way there looking for her caretaker. Hinako asks the two what they are doing together, causing Naraka to freeze up as usual, while Itsuki explains that he found her collapsed and simply brought her to the infirmary. When Hinako questions why he was patting Naraka on the head, Naraka hurriedly blurts out that she and Itsuki are childhood friends, so Hinako does not get the wrong idea. She explains that Itsuki used to be her caretaker when they were both around 10 years old, and that he lived at her family's estate for a while. Naraka happily admits that she could not help getting excited after seeing him again. Taking the opportunity, she even asks Itsuki to consider resuming the relationship they once had, before he can respond. However, Hinako steps forward and declares that Itsuki belongs to her because he is currently employed by the Konohana family. Naraka is completely stunned by the statement, while Itsuki wonders why Hinako would reveal something that was supposed to remain private. Blushing brightly, Naraka protests that it is unfair because she had Itsuki first. Hinako then does everything she can to make the other girl jealous before telling Itsuki to come with her to class. On the way there, Hinako reveals that she pretended to be sick and had someone escort her halfway because she did not want to get lost. Itsuki apologizes for making her worry, but then asks why she decided to tell Naraka all of that. Then out of nowhere, Hinako asks who he serves, and he admits he is her caretaker. She is satisfied with his answer, and laughs that they will both get punished by Shizune. Itsuki is terrified he will lose his job, but Shizune forgives him because Lady Hinako is equally to blame, and she also admits it was her mistake for not properly looking into his close relationship with Naraka. She even offers to come up with an excuse that will convince Naraka and keep everything a secret. With that settled, Shizune asks Hinako why she keeps clinging to Itsuki like a koala on a tree. Hinako shyly asks him to pat her head, and looks adorable when he rubs her head. The next day, Itsuki finds himself in his first tea party ever, and he can hardly believe his very first tea party already has such an amazing guest list. It all started when Taisho and Asahi suggested throwing him a welcome party in the cafeteria after class, and Itsuki happily agreed with their idea. The two get excited and tell him to decide who he wants to invite. At lunch, Hinako says she will go with him, even though Itsuki reminds her it is only a small tea party in the cafeteria and she does not have Shizune's permission like him. So Hinako immediately calls Shizune and demands permission. Shizune allows it since Itsuki will be with her, though she still sounds a little worried. Seeing that, Itsuki reminds Hinako it is only a small party, but she grabs his coat and insists she goes wherever Itsuki goes. After that, Itsuki visits Naraka's class to invite her since she did say she wanted to make friends. Outside the classroom, Naraka is mad at him, but she still hears him out since she happens to be free. The moment he mentions Hinako's name, she gets upset and says she still has not forgiven his betrayal because she wanted to live with him like they used to. Itsuki is confused about where that came from, and Naraka gets so embarrassed that she orders him to erase those words from his memory. He explains she has the wrong idea because he lives with the Konohana family as a live-in intern due to his father's partnership with the Konohana group. Naraka realizes it is a valuable chance for him to learn about elite society and agrees to keep it a secret when Itsuki asks her to. After that, he invites her to the tea party after school, and she gets so happy that she tears up because nobody has ever invited her to one before, even though she always wanted to join a tea party. The girl hesitates because she worries she might ruin the vibe just by showing up, but Itsuki reassures her she probably will not. On his way back to class, he runs into Mayuri, who says she heard he is staying in the Konohana wing. Itsuki looks confused by what she means and innocently asks if she does not like Hinako very much. Mayuri grows shy as she admits Hinako is every bit as beautiful and smart as she is, but the amount of attention that girl gets is completely unfair. She wonders if it is because of her incredible social skills and that adorable smile. Itsuki realizes this girl is completely obsessed with Hinako and snaps her out of the rant by asking if she would like to come to his tea party after class. During the tea party, Taisho and Asahi are stunned by the school's biggest superstars, and they ask how Itsuki managed to become friends with all of them in just 3 days, but he does not know either. Mayuri starts the introductions, and everyone shares a little about their family, but Naraka completely fumbles her introduction. Then, Mayuri asks everyone not to let her fairy reputation stop them from talking to her, so Itsuki also encourages Naraka to relax. Asahi notices they are already on a first-name basis, so Naraka nervously speaks up before him and reveals everything about their childhood friendship. But her forced smile at the end gives her away. Itsuki explains she struggles to talk to people because she spent her entire childhood inside her home, and the rumors about her Yakuza family are completely false. Naraka is surprised when Mayuri says everyone knows the Miyakojima family is famous for its sports goods. Asahi breaks the ice by asking what Naraka likes to do in her free time. After that, Taisho guesses Hinako probably spends most of her time studying. But Hinako replies she also likes having fun, like eating snacks. Asahi curiously asks about her favorite snack, so Hinako says scones, but Itsuki knows her true weakness is potato chips. Then, Mayuri points out his poor teacup etiquette and teaches him the proper way to hold a cup. That reminds Taisho that Itsuki came from a normal school, and he becomes curious about commoner culture. He asks Itsuki to teach them a fun commoner custom, so Itsuki decides to explain the 3-second rule. He drops a biscuit onto the table, picks it up, and eats it while explaining that food is still fine if you grab it within 3 seconds. Taisho is genuinely amazed by the commoner tradition, but Itsuki admits it is probably not a rule worth following. Even so, Hinako copies him anyway, and Mayuri is mildly disturbed by the funny but barbaric tradition. Little by little, Itsuki is happy to see everyone becoming more comfortable around each other. After the party ends, Taisho and Asahi excitedly talk about having another tea party later. And even Mayuri shyly admits to Hinako that her presence is surprisingly not entirely unpleasant. Hinako's innocent smile leaves her flustered, so she turns to Itsuki and praises how much his manners have improved. After Mayuri leaves, Naraka also heads out by herself because her car is stuck in traffic, so Itsuki gets Shizune and Hinako's permission to walk her over. Once they are alone, Naraka finally relaxes and thanks Itsuki because she could only talk to everyone thanks to his help. And without him, she believes she would have no friends until graduation. Itsuki does not believe that is true, but Naraka insists his tea party changed her life and says he really is her hero. She admits that is exactly why she still cannot forgive Hinako for stealing him away right after she finally found him again. Naraka asks how long his internship will last, but Itsuki says he does not know. She invites him to visit her house once it is over, and he walks away teasing that he will if he has the time. The next morning, Shizune compliments Itsuki on improving his table manners because he is not allowed to eat with Lady Hinako without proper etiquette. Hearing that, he curiously asks where Hinako eats, and Shizune explains she eats with the other servants in the dining hall. However, Shizune plans to increase the number of duties Itsuki handles each day until he is the last person she sees before bed and the first one she sees every morning. She also remembers she has something important to tell him about Hinako. Shizune explains he must watch for any signs that Lady Hinako feels unwell because she regularly gets sick from the pressure of acting like the perfect lady every day and carrying the burden of her responsibilities. Hearing that, Itsuki is concerned that she can be so calm about the situation. But Shizune explains it usually lasts only 2 or 3 days, so there is nothing to worry about. Itsuki argues because he feels bad for Hinako. But Shizune reminds the caretaker to know his place because Lady Hinako accepted that responsibility when she became the heir to the Konohana group. With that, she tells him to return to his room and prepare for school tomorrow, leaving Hinako's care to her because his grades are too poor for him to skip classes. At the academy, Taisho asks Itsuki why he looks so depressed, and Asahi tries to cheer him up by suggesting another tea party with his friends. But Taisho reminds her that they cannot gather a group like that every day. Then, Asahi notices Hinako skipped class, and Taisho suggests it is probably the usual time off she takes for business meetings that last 2 or 3 days. Itsuki is impressed by the clever cover story, but he feels a bit sad because it means no one is worried about Hinako, and there is no one there for her when she needs it most. As soon as he returns home, he asks Shizune how Hinako is feeling, and Shizune assures him she will recover in 2 days. After that, he is shocked to learn her father did not visit her even once because his responsibilities as the head of the Konohana conglomerate keep him too busy. While her mother passed away some time ago, Itsuki quietly realizes how little he knows about Hinako, so he decides to be there for her and asks Shizune to finish the day's lessons earlier. But Shizune asks if he is sure he can keep up with lessons at 150% speed. So while Itsuki finishes everything at a much faster pace, all he can think about is becoming someone Hinako can rely on whenever she is suffering. That night, Hinako is happy to see Itsuki and warmly thanks him for making time for her. He replies that it is obvious because he is her caretaker and makes her blush. Itsuki tells her she can ask for anything, so Hinako requests that he hold her hand. That is when he realizes just how small and delicate her hands really are. She sleeps peacefully while he holds her hand, but when he gently pats her head, she mumbles about her father, and Itsuki realizes that what Hinako truly needs from her caretaker is the warmth of a real family. He understands that feeling all too well because he spent his entire childhood living alone without his parents. Shizune snaps him out of his childhood memories and calls him outside to discuss something important. But he cannot leave because Hanako adorably refuses to let go of his hand. So Shizune decides to tell him right there that marrying into a good family is not the only reason Master Kajin makes Hanako pretend to be the perfect lady. The real reason is to bring a son-in-law into the family to take the place of Hanako's older brother Takuma, who lives in another mansion far away because Hanako's father does not believe he deserves to become the next leader of the Konohana group. Once Hanako gets married, she will have to share responsibilities with her husband. She still needs the skills to manage the business and maintain a strong image so any hate toward her does not create infighting that could hurt the business. At that moment, Itsuki finally realizes the overwhelming pressure of becoming the successor to such a massive business group. And he asks Shizune if there is really nothing he can do. Itsuki looks confused when she says that is not what she meant and explains that he should simply support Lady Hanako as her one and only caretaker the best he can. After she leaves, Itsuki decides he will do everything he can to spend time with Hanako during breaks, comfort her whenever she feels down, and give her the warmth of a family. Just as Shizune said, Hanako returns to the academy 3 days later, and he feeds her lunch as usual, which is the one part of his job that goes a little beyond family. As always, Hanako tries to trick him into finishing her vegetables, but he refuses because she might get sick again if she skips them. Hanako argues she can just sleep and recover if that happens, but Itsuki admits he is happiest when he sees her healthy. That makes Hanako quietly eat the bitter vegetables that make her adorable cheeks puff up. The following day, Itsuki receives another duty to wake Hanako every morning, so he enters her room and tells her it is time to get up. Hanako grumbles that she wants 3 more hours, but Itsuki says that is unacceptable and throws the curtains open to let the sunlight in. Hanako finally sits up, but when she realizes it is only Itsuki, she flops right back into bed and commands him to get her up. Hanako wishes him good morning when he helps her up. He tells her that her clothes are ready and says he will wait outside while she changes. But Hanako suddenly asks him to help her get dressed too, which turns Itsuki into a bright red tomato. She tells him to hurry up while he works up the courage to do it. Just as he is about to begin, Shizune knocks on the door and says she forgot to mention that Lady Hanako is only half awake in the mornings, so she sometimes blurts out outrageous requests like helping her change. She warns him that he absolutely must not take it seriously, but Itsuki totally fell for it and insists he did not. Shizune says that she trusts him completely after all the hard work he puts in every day. While Itsuki suffers from a little too much trust, Hanako smugly teases that she looks forward to many more good mornings with him. Later, Itsuki learns that the academy holds its midterms earlier than most schools, and he realizes he is toast after he sees last year's maths questions. During lunch, Hanako notices he looks worried, so he admits the midterms are on his mind, but it is no big deal. Hanako quickly makes him realize it is a huge deal because he will be jobless if his grades fall too low, which sends him into panic. Seeing that, Hanako offers to tutor him herself and proudly brags that she is sort of the top student in her class. Itsuki loves the idea, so he later asks Taisho and Asahi if they have any special plans to prepare for the exams. Both of them say they simply spend more time studying, so he introduces the idea of a group study session where friends study together, keep each other motivated, and discuss what might appear on the test. Asahi gets excited by the idea, and Taisho suggests they invite the whole tea party group. So Itsuki's little study session quickly grows from just him and Hanako into a group of 6. Taisho is thrilled because the top 2 students are both there. Itsuki already knows Hanako is first, but he instantly regrets asking who is second after he feels the rage behind Mayuri's smile. Taisho points out that Asahi is pretty smart too, but she says Naraka is much closer to the top than she is. Naraka explains that history and gym are her only strong subjects because her warrior family has drilled history into her since childhood, but she struggles with almost every other class. Since Itsuki has no clue where to begin, Mayuri suggests they split everyone into tutors and students, with herself, Hanako, and Asahi acting as tutors. Itsuki is not fully convinced, but Hanako agrees because teaching someone else is also a great way to learn. Itsuki admits math is his weakest subject, but just as Hanako offers to tutor him, Mayuri cuts over her because math is her strong suit. After that, Asahi pairs up with Naraka, and Hanako quietly crushes Itsuki's foot under the table while she agrees to tutor Taisho instead. He quickly realizes she is mad that they cannot study together because the stomps only get harder. Soon the group study begins, and he is surprised by how quickly he solves maths problems with Mayuri's techniques. Meanwhile, Narika's brain melts from information overload, so Asahi suggests they all take a short break. So while Itsuki steps outside to get some fresh air, Mayuri walks over and directly asks if he really comes from a middle-class business family. Itsuki is stunned and asks what gave him away. Mayuri explains that her sharp intuition tells her his manners are something he picked up in a very short time, and she wonders what drives him to work so hard because she feels it has something to do with his background. Itsuki asks if she finds him suspicious, but Mayuri says she does not because she trusts the Academy's thorough background checks on every student. Even then, she is curious to know if he is really who she thinks he is. With that, the two head back to the group, who are now talking about the annual Konohana family party. Asahi is surprised that Mayuri already knows about it, but Mayuri says she never attends because of the delicate relationship between the Tennoji and Konohana families. She then asks Narika if she has ever gone, but the shy introvert admits she has never accepted an invitation because large gatherings make her too nervous. Asahi admits she is jealous because she loves wearing pretty dresses and meeting new people. So Hanako offers to send her a formal invite along with one for Teisho. Hearing that, Itsuki worries she is handing out invitations so freely, but Hanako explains she always has permission to invite whoever she wants. Mayuri then surprises Hanako by saying she will attend the next party because she wants to go not as the Tennoji family's heir, but as Hanako's friend. She then smoothly talks Itsuki into coming too, while Asahi practically drags Narika into agreeing as well. Soon after that, the midterms begin and last for 3 days. Itsuki feels satisfied with his performance, even though the exams leave him completely drained. Back at the mansion, Hanako wakes up and watches Itsuki still studying even after the exams, and she asks why he's doing it. He explains that Shizune and Mayuri's tutoring made him excited to work harder. Hanako is amazed by how seriously he takes everything, but Itsuki is more impressed by her talent for falling asleep in anyone's bed. He offers to take her back to her room, but she says she is not sleepy anymore. That gives him the idea to take her somewhere she likes for a walk. With that, Hanako clumsily leads him the wrong way several times, and he thinks she is lost until they finally reach a back door that opens into the lawn. Itsuki worries they might get caught, but Hanako says security does not come to the lawn, so he hands her an ice cream bar, and Hanako is in pure bliss over the divine delicacy. Itsuki notices she still looks tired and feels guilty that his group study wore her out. But Hanako says feeling tired is still better than not being with him. He tells her she does not have to push herself just to keep him company. But Hanako says she learned from him that the easiest path is not always the best one. Right then, her ice cream melts and drops onto the floor. Hanako quickly bends down to pick it up because he taught her the 3-second rule. But Itsuki stops her immediately. Hanako is adorably disappointed, and the two laugh it off as they walk back to her bedroom together like a cute couple. All while Shizune quietly watches behind the scenes. A few days later, Shizune asks Itsuki to be extra careful with the custom-made Italian suit he has to wear because it costs more than his salary. Even though he finds it far too stiff, he still has to wear it while accompanying Hanako and her father to an important business meeting. On the way, Shizune explains that while Hanako attends lunch with her father's business partners at a small vacation house, his job is to observe and learn high society etiquette. She reminds Lady Hanako to remember that she first met the chairman when she was 7 years old and to stay on her best behavior, even though Hanako complains that it is a pain. At the vacation house, Itsuki's jaw drops because the place is definitely not small. Shizune explains that Lady Hanako will enter through the front while they meet again at the terrace. Hanako turns to Itsuki and complains that she has to make small talk with a bunch of old men, but she promises to do her best. He pats her on the head, promises he will be with her the whole time, and that they will have plenty of fun after they get back. She immediately says she wants ice cream, which earns Itsuki an earful from Shizune. At the party, the older men chat about old times, and the president remembers meeting Hanako when she was little. She follows Shizune's script perfectly and says she was 7 years old when she met the president during a flower viewing party. The answer impresses the president, who says she has grown into quite the refined young lady, while his partner mentions hearing she is known as the most elegant lady at Kioh Academy. With that, lunch begins, and Shizune asks Itsuki what he has learned so far. He admits everyone's manners seem completely natural. So Shizune explains that true etiquette should require no effort at all. It is a sign of respect and an unspoken rule that builds trust, especially among the leaders of major businesses who often express their intentions through manners more than words because they must always choose their words carefully. When the president watches Hanako's graceful manners, he jokes that she must have countless marriage proposals. But her father surprises him by saying she has not received a single marriage proposal yet. The president then offers to introduce an acquaintance who might be interested, and Hanako's father gladly asks to hear more. Itsuki grows curious about what they are discussing and notices Hanako seems a little spaced out. While Hanako's father happily listens to the family being introduced by the president, a waiter serves dessert pastries. Hanako takes a piece, but it falls onto the table. Just as the president talks about informing his acquaintance of the Konohana family's interest, Hanako's father turns to ask her a question. Everyone at the table is horrified to see her picking up the fallen pastry with her bare hand, eating it, and innocently saying it is the 3-second rule. Hanako instantly realizes she made a terrible mistake, and the president is visibly disappointed. Even Shizune is terrified because she cannot predict how furious Master Kajin will be. After the lunch ends, the president leaves saying he enjoyed the meal, but would like to put the marriage talks on hold since his reputation is on the line when he makes a recommendation. As soon as the president leaves, Hanako's father demands to know who is responsible for her disgraceful behavior. Itsuki steps forward and admits it was his fault, but her father does not blame him. Instead, he believes that allowing Hanako to have a caretaker and a sloppy personality in private was a mistake all along. He orders Shizune to begin training Hanako to maintain her perfect image even at home, even when she warns that it will completely exhaust her. However, Hanako's father says that does not matter because she never actually gets sick. Since Hanako was born into the Konohana family, she must fulfill her duty and protect the family's honor. Itsuki cannot imagine a world where Hanako's true self no longer exists, so he asks her father to consider another way. Instead, Kajin says Itsuki is not the one to blame, and that it was his own mistake for believing a commoner could never influence Hanako in a bad way. With that, he orders Shizune to give Itsuki his salary once they return because his contract is terminated. Back at the mansion, Itsuki finds himself locked outside the front gate shortly after Master Kajin hands him a paycheck worth more than they originally agreed and offers to let him stay until he finds an apartment. But his admission to the academy is cancelled. As Itsuki remembers how quickly his life falls apart, he nearly throws the money onto the ground, but his rage turns into sadness, and he quietly walks away from the life that always felt too good to be true. Meanwhile, in Hanako's room, she tells Shizune that she feels fine. She says that even though Itsuki only stayed for a month, it felt much longer than that. She then suggests they at least hire him as a servant if he is unfit to be her caretaker, maybe as a gardener or a cook. But Shizune sadly explains that Master Kajin refuses to let Itsuki work anywhere in the mansion. That makes Hanako even sadder, but Shizune politely asks her not to do anything else that might make her father angrier. Hanako asks whose side Shizune is really on, and she replies that her employer is Master Kajin. After that betrayal, Hanako declares she will find Itsuki herself, but Shizune firmly replies she will not, and there will be guards outside her room to make sure she does nothing irresponsible. After Shizune leaves, Hanako grabs the curtains and declares she is a woman who knows how to get what she wants. At the park, Naraka runs into Itsuki as he sits depressed outside a park. She proudly shares that she is finally free to go outside after fulfilling her father's condition of beating him in every type of martial art. Itsuki praises her with a sad voice, so she quickly notices something is wrong and asks why he looks so down. Once he tells her everything, Naraka wonders what will happen to Hanako. Even though Itsuki does not get to see her before being kicked out, he is sure her family will put more pressure on her, and she will probably not come to tea parties or join study groups anymore. Naraka thinks the Konohana family is unbelievably strict over such a small mistake. Itsuki, on the other hand, blames himself for the entire mess. When he says that he never truly belonged there, Naraka immediately shouts that it is not true at all. She stands up and reminds the boy that he helped her become the person she is today. She explains that she would have never imagined gaining this kind of freedom and once again tells him how grateful she is. She says that Hanako probably feels the same way and urges the guy to have more faith in himself. Her words convince Itsuki that the skills which seem trivial to him might actually be more valuable to Hanako and Naraka than he realized. He thanks Naraka and rushes off to try negotiating with the Konohana family. As he leaves, Naraka realizes that she has made a huge mistake because she practically convinced the guy she likes to choose her rival instead. She cannot help wondering what kind of relationship Itsuki has with Hanako that makes him worry so much about her. On the way, Itsuki recalls the promise he made to support Hanako. When he arrives at the gate, the guards refuse to let him inside. The boy then uses the martial arts he recently learned and is surprised by how naturally he performs them. As if he has a talent for it, He easily climbs over the gate and gets across. He hides in the bushes before remembering the camera-free area behind the house that Hanako had shown him. He uses that route to sneak inside, but finds several guards in his way, forcing him to change direction. He easily deals with every guard who gets in his way, and uses the exact moves Shizune taught him. Even he cannot believe how smoothly he pulls them off. And he quietly smiles while thanking the lady for teaching him all of that. While rushing toward the office to find Keijin, he suddenly spots Hanako hanging from a window as she tries to climb down. Seeing her barely holding on, Itsuki jumps up to the window and catches her at the very last second before she falls. He scolds the girl for doing something so reckless, upon which she admits that she simply wanted to see him. She then tells him that she has a proposal for him. Just then, they hear the guards approaching, forcing Itsuki to practically kidnap her. He keeps running until they finally lose the guards, and only then does he listen to her proposal. Hanako tells him to use her to convince her father and even extort him if necessary. Itsuki argues that such a plan would never work and says that he wants to start by trying to convince him properly. As the two walk toward the office, Shizune suddenly appears, and they find themselves surrounded by guards. Shizune tells the boy that although she never mentioned it before, he really has a natural talent for martial arts. Just then, Hanako steps forward and asks the maid to let Itsuki stay with her, promising that she will maintain the image of a perfect lady even when she is alone. Itsuki, however, tells Hanako that doing that would defeat the whole reason he is fighting for her because all he wants is for her to be herself. He asks her not to keep sacrificing who she really is. Their heartfelt moment is interrupted when the maid excuses herself and asks the two to wait there while she answers a call from Keijin and goes to meet him. She heads to the chairman and shows him the invitations for the Konohana family's upcoming social gathering, which include invitations for Teisho, Asahi, Norika, and even the Mayuri family. Keijin points out that he never personally invited Teisho or Asahi, but believes they could still be useful additions. He explains that he has been hoping to improve his relationship with both the Miyakojima family and the Tennoji family. The Tennoji family, in particular, has always been a rival household with whom negotiations have been difficult, so having their daughter attend the gathering could work in his favor. He asks the maid why all four accepted the invitations and learns that his daughter had sent them herself as the heir of the Konohana family because the heirs of those families appear to be her friends. The chairman wonders what suddenly changed to make his daughter start inviting people. Hearing this, Shizune humbly suggests using the opportunity to bring Itsuki back since he is the one responsible for these positive changes in Hanako as well. Keijin stands up and tells the maid to rehire Itsuki. That night, Itsuki gets to attend the gathering just as he was originally supposed to. His friends also arrive, and among them, Narika is clearly panicking because of her social anxiety. Mayuri helps calm her down, tells her not to feel intimidated, and then brings her along to mingle with the guests around them. Itsuki compliments the girls and Teisho on their dresses, and soon his eyes meet Keijin, who invites him over for a chat. There, the chairman explains that although his daughter may have a few issues, he believes she has an exceptional talent for business. He says that, for appearances, he wants a son-in-law to inherit the family business. But the person he truly wants running it is his daughter. He adds that he is confident her talents will fully blossom before leaving the hall. While the boy stands there thinking about what he just heard, Hanako walks over and says that her father told her he was here. She thanks him for staying as her caretaker and tells him that she is going to place her trust in him. Itsuki blushes and realizes that he sometimes forgets he is only her caretaker because he gets too carried away. The girl then admits that she is tired after mingling with so many people and asks Itsuki to pat her on the head. This time, however, she suddenly blushes, and her face turns bright red as she feels something different that she cannot understand. Itsuki steps closer and asks what happened, but she simply turns her face away in embarrassment. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.